Game of Thrones. Oh, sorry, wrong audio. There, much better. Now I'm here to tell you that this, and this are not the real Game of Thrones castles. Well, they are Game of Thrones the TV show's castles, but they weren't depicted as described in the books, A Song of Ice and Fire. Now, I think it's important to say that I did not read any of these books, so most of the information in this video about the castle descriptions I got from this website, a wiki of Ice and Fire, which seems legit. They got the references, chapters, quotes, and everything. So, let's get right into it. First of all, I'm only going to talk about Dragonstone, Winterfell, Casterly Rock, and Riverrun, since they're the ones I noticed had the most disparities between the show and books versions. And let me tell you, the people who are responsible for the castle depictions must have completely ignored every description in the books. But then again, maybe it's budget constraints or something, because these castle descriptions are insane. So, Dragonstone, the original seat of House Targaryen in Westeros, located on the island of the same name at the entrance to Blackwater Bay. Now, this is how the castle looks in the show, and this is what the wiki has to say. Dragon architecture can be found throughout the castle, such as small dragons framing gates and dragon claws holding torches. Doors can be set in the mouths of stone dragons, instead of merlons, and by the way, these are called crenellations or battlements. This is a merlon and this is a crenell. So, instead of merlons, gargoyles and grotesques serve as brooding crenellations along the three curtain walls. Designs include basilisks, cockatrices, demons, griffins, hellhounds, manticores, minotaurs, wyverns, and other creatures. Maybe this is a bit exaggerated, but this concept art should give you an idea about how the castle should look. Now, let's take another look at the castle from the show. There is nothing, just normal battlements. Well, not exactly normal, but they are not shaped like gargoyles. These people didn't even try to adhere to these descriptions. The wiki also says, Sea Dragon Tower, shaped like a dragon gazing serenely out across the sea. And the Wind Rim is a tower shaped like a dragon, which seems to scream defiance. Again, let's look at the castle from the show. Not a single tower resembles a dragon. I mean, these people control dragons, and this castle can't even hint at that fact. That's all I got for Dragonstone. Now let's move on to Winterfell, the seat of House Stark, located in the center of the northernmost province of the Seven Kingdoms. And right away you can tell there is something horribly wrong before even looking at the book descriptions. What is this? Why are the roofs so flat? They're in the f***ing north. What's the Stark's catchphrase? Winter is coming. Well, your architecture sure as hell doesn't reflect that. And if you haven't caught up yet, if you have a roof like this in an area where snowfall is the default weather condition, the snow will just pile up and the roof will cave in. That's why you need roofs like these. Sharp angles because gravity points downwards, so the snow should slide right off. And even if it doesn't, again, gravity. The forces don't point this way. But with a roof like this, especially in Game of Thrones winter, you'll be building roofs every single day. Now, that being said, check this out. The ancient godswood of Winterfell has stood untouched for 10,000 years, with 3 acres of old packed earth and close together trees creating a dense canopy, which the castle was built around. The castle was built around the godswood, not off to the side, so it should be in the center or at least inside the main set of walls. And again, it's 3 acres, that means 12,140 square meters, so about twice as big as this one, which will in turn make the whole castle bigger. And actually, Shad from the channel Shadiversity made a whole video detailing how the castle should look based on the book descriptions. And he made a 3D model of the entire thing, so if you want more detail, you can check his video. Not now though, please finish this one first. Casterly Rock, nicknamed The Rock, is the seat of House Lannister, located on the ocean road and overlooks the harbor of Lannisport. In my opinion, this one is the most different from its book counterpart, even more so than Dragonstone. In the show, as you can see, it's just a whole castle built atop a rock that's jutting out of the sea. As it appears, the entire castle is above the rock, and there is only a little cavern that the invaders infiltrated the castle through. Now let's take a look at what the wiki has to say. Casterly Rock is carved out of a colossal stone hill beside the Sunset Sea. It's not built atop of it, it's carved out of it, so most of the castle is actually inside the rock. The wiki also says the entire stronghold, tunnels, dungeons, storerooms, barracks, halls, grand halls, stables, stairways, courtyards, balconies, etc. lies within the rock itself, the only exception being the watchtower on the top of the mount. And this stone is truly gigantic. Again, the wiki says, the rock is 2 leagues, 6 miles long from west to east, and has a width of 2 miles from north to south. Its peak is about 2,100 feet high, which makes it 3 times as high as the highest point of the wall. The ice wall, from the north, and taller than the high tower of Old Town. I found this online, comparing it to the world's tallest buildings, and it dwarfs everything except for Burj Khalifa. This thing is insane. There is just no comparison between it and the castle in the show. Now, lastly, the wiki again says, the Lion's Mouth, the main entry to Casterly Rock, is an enormous natural cavern reaching 200 feet high, located on the south face of the rock. It is accessible via a great stone stairway with steps wide enough for 20 riders. There are sea gates at the base of the west face large enough for galleys and cogs to sail into the caverns under the stone, where the Lannisters have their own protected docks as well as wharves and shipyards. So a huge amount of this rock's cavity is occupied from top to bottom. They even have a harbor in there. The show's castle? Yeah, completely unrecognizable from this one. Okay, the last castle, Riverrun. It's the seat of House Tully and located at the Western Riverlands. Now this one is not as drastically different as the other 3. The wiki does say that it's a 3-sided castle, and I can kinda see it being 3-sided. But it also says that the keep is triangular, like Riverrun itself. But most buildings here are round. Other than that, we've got it's surrounded on all 3 sides by water. We at least have that checked, and that it's not that big of a castle. Well, compared to Game of Thrones castles, that is, not real life ones. But that's where the similarities stop. As you can see here, the castle has red sandstone walls. And yeah, those are white walls, not red. And the last detail here, we've got the shortest way from the Great Hall to the keep is through the Godswood, a bright and airy garden with elms, redwoods, wildflowers, nesting birds, and streams. So this castle has an entire Godswood inside of it, which by necessity makes it much bigger than without the Godswood. And what do we have here? A single tree. That's it. That's your airy, bright garden with streams and redwoods. Now, I'm sure there are probably good reasons as to why the castles in the show weren't as grand and unconventional as they were described in the books. But still, some of these don't have anything in common with the original designs. But I digress. If you noticed I lost my voice by the end of this voiceover here, let me know in the comments what's your favorite castle as described in the books. I'll leave mine in the pinned comment. And don't forget to like and subscribe. This channel is picking up steam. We're almost at 100 subscribers. I've been Rash, and I'm out of here. See ya.